Welcome to the student life. Now, I'm making this video with the assumption that you have already given your GRE or TOEFL. If you haven't and are planning to give it, I would highly recommend you that you go back and watch my other two videos which are based on the same topics. Now, before I get to it, I just want to get one common misconception out of the way, and that is the branding. Unlike India, where brand is the most important aspect of a college, example IIT, where if you don't get in, it is the end of your world. In US, it is not the case. The brand does matter in US, but a very little bit. It is only good for the awe effect when you tell it to your relatives or friends that you're from Stanford, MIT or Harvard. They are big names. But what actually matters is the course ranking and how well is your course. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to grab a pen and paper this time. Step number 1. Make an Excel sheet. And if you're not comfortable making an Excel sheet, grab a pen and paper and draw the following columns. The first one is the university course ranking, not the university ranking, the course ranking. The second column is your average GRE score for intake for students in that course. The third one is the financial aid offered by that university for that course. And the last one is the course fee. And if you have any of your own preferences like the geographic location or where your relatives live, feel free to add it to your column. Step number 2. Now, even before we begin the shortlisting process, I would highly recommend you that you go to a site called LinkedIn and look at the people who are at the top of their game in your particular course. For example, if you're a CA student and are looking for a job in a reputed company like Microsoft or Intel, look at the people and the course that they did. It will give you a very good idea as to what course do you actually want to go for. And there are a lot of rankings out there. There are the QS World rankings or Times ranking, and there are a whole lot of other rankings. But my point is you should go for the ranking that covers your preferences. They have their own parameters for judging the rankings, and I personally prefer QS World ranking because it covers the most number of preferences, including international diversity. Step number 3. Now that you have a list of colleges, what I want you to do is take the top 200 colleges and put them aside. Why 200 colleges, you ask? Because if you're not going to the top 200 colleges in US, you have a better chance at going to a local college because it will give you much better value for money. Now that you have 200 colleges, what I want you to do is write the average GRE score requirement or SAT score requirement for all these colleges. Done that? Okay, great. Now what we need to do is remove the colleges which are above plus minus 10 points below your score in GRE SAT or whatever the competitive exam was. For example, if you scored 300, remove all the colleges which require an average score below 290 or 310. Now, why this works? Unlike India or other Asian countries where a 2-digit or 3-digit score can make or break your admission process, the US education system is very, very different. It only accounts for 20 or 30% of the score, so you're good to go. Step number 4. Now that you have a list of colleges, what I want you to do is go to each individual college's website and fill the following columns: the total fees, the financial aid available for international students. Okay? Now what I want you to do is subtract the scholarship available from the total fees, which includes the living cost, by the way, because now you will have a total budget of your expenditure that you will be required to do when you go to that particular college. Now all the colleges that are above your budget, I want you to remove them from the list. Now let me explain why that will work. Okay, so on the x-axis we have quality and on the y-axis we have cost. And let's say at $20,000 you have the least university that you want to go to, and at the extreme right are the Ivy League colleges. Now what happens is as you move from left to right and the cost increases, the quality increases significantly. But now after this inflection point, what happens is you keep paying more and the fees of your education goes up, but the quality only improves by a little bit. So what I want you to do is I want to find your own sweet spot where you can okay with between the quality and the cost of education. Tip number 5. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go to all the colleges. By this time you would be left around with 20 to 25 colleges and look for their placement opportunities for international students. Now why is it important? It is very important because now unless your dad's name ended with Gates or Mr. Ambani, you're going to be paying for education, at least some part of it, on your own. So it is important that you get a job which pays in a denomination which is stronger than our own in currency. It would be something like paying for your education in gold and trying to repay that loan with peanuts if you come back to your own country after getting that education. Now, I'm not trying to demotivate you to not go for a higher education, but getting a job is very important in the foreign country. Why? Because if you come back, and you should only come back in two cases. The first one is that you have your own entrepreneurial venture, or you have some plan that you want to come and execute back in your own country. Or second, you want to help your family in their own business, and your education would play an important part in the expansion of it. Because if you don't get a job there, you're going to be caught up in a very nasty cycle of student debt that would take you years to repay back. The last and final tip. Now, ideally you should be applying to 8 to 10 colleges. Now, how do you decide where to apply? I would recommend that you divide your college application processes into 3 categories. The first one being the dream category, the second one being the deserving, and the third one being safe. The dream category is the one that you think that even after not having the score which is above their average, you can still get in with the help of your SOP and LOR, and I will be covering SOP and LOR in the future videos. The second one is deserving, where you know with your SOP, LOR, CV and your score you're definitely going to get in. And the third one is a safe option, which is below your average. You know that it is a very safe option to go in with your SOP and LOR, so it is not a very big deal. You have them as your backup options. Now, as always, if you found this video helpful, please like it, share it and subscribe it. And keep learning, my friends. I believe in you.